to watch him right now.
I just want to let them know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've only had one girl that was kind of like, what? Had a nigga like, what? I've only had one that happened to, but I ain't gonna lie. What made me kind of like,
yo, wait, hold on, before you switch the topic.
No, go ahead.
There's this one girl, right? She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have game night." Right, so I go to her house and I'm bringing games and I have my Jenga and my Uno cards and I'm like, I brought the games, and she just
put them shits away.
Pulled her titties out, took her bands down.
Wrong game, nigga. Wrong game.
Sean Johnson, old head Steph, Sade Renee.
Namaste.
This is another episode of the IC. How's everybody doing?
Shit, though. It's hotter than.
It's hot!
Hot out here, dog.
New York summer.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
It's always fucking hot in this. Why, like, New York has to be, like, dumb cold in the wintertime.
We in New York,
and
right?
Dumb hot in the summertime.
Listen,
like, we don't get no real in between.
Listen, the fire hydrant is out.
Yeah.
The motherfucking, you hear the music in the background.
That doodle water. You already know what time it is.
It's going crazy out here. We in the AC though.
We in the AC.
But yo, what's? I want to hear something interesting, right? What's everybody's like centerpiece obstacle they've been like dealing with this week?
Myself.
What do you mean yourself?
Like, I didn't realize like how much you can be your own worst enemy. It's like when you get to a point in your life where it's like all the people have been filtered out. Just like when you realize like you are the problem, it's like it's tough. When it's like you can't really blame anybody anymore and it's you. It's just you versus you versus you and your bullshit. And it's like how to like calling yourself out on your bullshit's easy, but like reprogramming yourself to be different or respond different or like get into habits that you really want to start. I find it's easier said than done. That's really it.
Yeah, it is tough. I'm not gonna lie. Similar situation as well. I feel like I got a short temper, bro. I have a very low tolerance for I guess ignorance.
You feel like you don't have like patience?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of patience. Like for unnecessary, I'm not even gonna say ignorance because it's not ignorant. It's just like I like shit. I like shit the way I like it, and I want people to just like
fall in line.
Not fall in line. Yeah, I guess fall in line, but not on beneath me. Just like do what you're supposed to do and like know where you're supposed to be type shit. Or like
I would piss you off. Because that's what I'm struggling with. Like wanting to get on a certain pace and kind of like knowing what I want out of life, but like just old ways kind of like getting in your way of that. Like, you know, you're supposed to be further in life. Like, I feel like I'm just like in this weird in-between space where I'm trying to catch up to the version of myself I want to be. And the old version of myself is just fucking getting in the way.
I don't believe in that.
Why not?
I despise the thought that we're supposed to be somewhere. I get that there's certain things that, you know, there's some people that waste time and like, you know, don't do, you know, are not productive or whatever. But I feel like everything leads up to where it's supposed to be. Like, I don't feel like anybody should be looking at a time structure and being like, yo, by this age, this needs to happen or I'm a failure.
Oh, no, not I guess it's not necessarily for me. I do, to some extent, feel like I'm like too old enough to have some of the problems that I'm having. Like, I feel like I should have learned. I feel like my home life should be different. And I feel like I've kind of put myself in a position where it's not I feel like I'm not as in control as I should be of my home, but I also feel like I just didn't learn certain things. So now it's like, I should have known that, but nobody taught me that. So now I have to teach myself.
But that's not your fault, though.
It's not, but at the same time, I feel like you get to a point in life where you got to take responsibility for what you don't know. And I am, but that's what I'm saying, kind of catching up to the version of myself that I want to be.
I guess I can respect that.
So it's not necessarily like I can't do it. I don't know what I want. I'm not productive. Like, it's almost like troubleshooting your life.
But
you get what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. The fact that state of mind is there. It's just like you're doing that. Things take time. The fact that you're trying to do something.
I feel pressure to move faster.
Don't. I'm not saying like just take your time and be slow about it, but stop the whole beating yourself up shit, because it's not productive for anybody. It's not healthy for anybody, because all you're doing is just like, you're taking away. You're adding negative energy inside of you. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like that shit right there. I used to do that to myself. I'm not saying like...
I'm very hard on myself.
I used to do that shit to myself all the time. Like, I'm not... Like, I get things need to be done, and things... And people need to... Some people need to work. Some people need to... But you gotta understand, like, we are who we are. Like, that's like we was talking to our last episode about having... everybody has a different chemistry, biology, you know, we all respond.
And different paths and different journeys.
I'm talking about like as far as like medication. Like we all respond.
Oh, yes.
So the same way is like, yo, like you can have the same experience I have and just have a different response to it. So
right.
like you gotta like, it doesn't matter what anybody else is going through because this is your story. This is your movie. So at the end of the day, like you gotta go for your shit. And
yeah. I like that perspective a lot. But I'm not gonna front. I live my life from another perspective.
What's that?
I look at life that is like it's almost binary, right? And I'm kind of obsessed with demographics and statistics.
Okay.
And it's not me comparing myself to other people, but it's just seeing where I stand amongst another black individual who grew up in the inner city, my age, that came from the same. I like seeing how well I'm doing because I'm used to having businesses and scaling, and that's how you scale. You know what I mean? You have to know how well you're doing. Just like in school, it's practical. You're in a place where some people get C's, some people get B's, some people get A's, and from there you can move on to the next level. They're compartmentalizing students academically, right? So I agree that you shouldn't really have these tight restrictions on yourself and beat yourself up, but at the same time you should be conscious of the fact that you need to scale your life, and you need to make progress, and you need to know where you stand amongst other men and see how well you're doing to see if you need to do better.
I get that. I get that when you're trying to accomplish something as far as like a business or make a successful business. But as far as the goal for your, like, so if like what it sounds like from Sade's perspective, it sounds like she's looking for self-actualization.
Yes, that is what I'm striving
So it seems like to compare yourself, your progress mentally from like for instance, like if I have insecurity, mm-hmm. I'm not gonna compare myself to another confident man, a man that is confident. Not because
there's different elements that created his confidence.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, that may contribute to my insecurities.
Right.
Because like, damn, look at him. He doesn't care that this is happening, or he looks stupid here, and he's like still, you know,
I'm the same.
It's a messy comparison.
So if you look at 5 students that all make A's, right? One student is insecure. One student doesn't have confidence the way he looks or whatever it is. Another student has problems at home. Another student gets bullied for his chocolate milk every day. Yeah. And another student is handicapped, right? They all get A's.
Uh-huh.
What excuse does the kid that has F's have? You get what I'm saying?
Maybe that person with F can't It has a lower.
At the end of the day, you still have to figure out how to get the A.
I get that, but comparing yourself to those people is just another.
It's just gonna kill you.
That's why I said before, it's not really comparing yourself. You know what I mean? But I guess it also is because you have to be aware of how well you're doing.
Yeah, and I get that. But I mean,
if you're doing terrible, you're doing terrible.
Yeah, you need to be. But that's the whole thing.
And that's how life is.
So that's what I'm saying. So her being aware of her flaws is enough. Fuck what everybody else is doing.
Well, I want to take it off of Shade because Shade's not doing terrible.
Yeah, she's not.
No, I'm not. I had an ego death in the gym.
I'm talking about people that that need to level up.
Yeah.
And they're in a time of their life where, because that's where the conversation has like. It is, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, people, I don't want, like how you were saying last episode with influence, I don't want people that a dude's sitting on his couch and all his friends are in Ivy League schools and he has a chance to go back in school and
giving himself an excuse.
Give himself an excuse.
That's okay. So I get that that aspect. So
like
if you're like categorically just like just slumming it, just failing at all aspects of life,
but even if you're not, even if you're a C student and you just coming to school fucking high every fucking day,
so then
all your friends are making A's.
So
you still need to scale your life.
I think it's about taking inventory of your life.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like needing to. I don't really need another person to look at to see that. Right. Like that's what. So I'm not saying that. Like I get what you're saying.
You do though.
I get what you're saying by like being aware. So for instance, if you gain weight, you know you gain weight.
Yeah.
You don't need to look at a guy in shape to know that you gained weight.
Right.
So what I'm saying is like, don't look at those dudes and then look at yourself like, oh, look at you and be like, you know what? I know I'm not where I need to be.
Yes.
Let's get there.
So
yes, I get. It's so funny because it's almost contradicting, but we're saying the same.
No, I'm about to say you guys are saying the same thing.
We're supporting each other, what we're saying, but we're contradicting each other.
Yeah.
Because I agree with it too. Like I'm not gonna look at somebody else's Instagram and be like, my life should be better.
Yeah.
But if I know statistically, a black male who lives where I live at my age with this much kids, he's making $40,000 more than me, I know I'm a little behind. I'm aware that I'm a little behind.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
I can respect
But
that.
it's like, don't compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
But I think you might have to compare yourself to others. You might have to.
I don't think it's necessarily a comparison, but looking at the highest version of, I guess, where your statistic lands. Like, I'm a single mom. You get what I'm saying? I'm a single black mom. So it's like looking at other single black moms, it's like, what's the highest accomplishment a single black mom can reach? And then being inspired to do inventory on myself and kind of like saying like, okay, where am I now? And where do I want to be? And what did she do to get to the highest point that I would like to do? And how can I make changes within myself to get there? So that's like integrating both of what both of you are saying. It's like, I'm looking at the comparisons of the people within my age range who have the same variables of life, similar variables of life that I have, and then also taking a look at my life, where I'm at now and where I want to go, and what separates me from where I want to be.
So I'm going to change what I'm saying because I now
I'm kind of jacking comparing yourself to others.
Yeah,
I really am.
So here's what I'll say. As a YouTuber and content creator, I often look at other content creators that are specifically doing similar things to what I'm doing. Not to beat myself up, to see how long it took them to get there.
Right.
What they're doing that I'm not doing.
Right.
And if they have any advice for me.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know if that's comparing. I think it's like looking for a roadmap.
Yeah,
right. So looking for a strategy.
A perfect example. I think
comparing's
a
right? Weird word.
I was on the track team, and a 400 is one loop around the track.
Yes.
I was finishing that at a minute.
Okay.
That's slow. compared to fast people.
Okay.
I went to go. First, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna compare myself to everybody else. This is my struggle. And then I'm seeing how well I'm doing compared to the other kids on the team, and I'm like, I'm not one of the fast runners. Like, one day I'm doing it at 58. One day I'm doing it at 57. One day I'm doing that. What's going on right here? From there, I can put that to the side and I can be a little practical about it and be like, yo, what do you think I'm doing wrong? Oh, look at your strides. You're not moving.
So you're talking about productivity.
Look at your pace amongst the
your
whole
volume.
track. You need to save your pace, and at the end you need to explode. You get what I'm saying? So now I could take that, apply it, and now I'm finishing at 56.
Yeah.
So you're talking about strategy.
So it's like I did compare myself to others, but yeah, it is a strategy.
It's comparing yourself in order to come up with a strategy to reach your end game.
Right.
It's like having a North Star, reviewing where you are, where you are, and looking at people who are where your North Star lands.
Where I need to be.
And then coming up with the strategy based off of what you see, where you are, and where you need to be.
Okay, so that's very different from what I'm saying, though. So, like, to be like, to do that is, I think, is okay. And I think, if anything, it's probably the best way to go about getting better at whatever you're trying to accomplish. But what I'm saying is bad to do is to be like, if you would have been like, damn, we're the same age, this guy's a similar height, he's this fast, and I'm this, I must be just shitty. That's what I don't think is good.
I did do that at one point.
You know what the denominator is that? Yeah, the
common
main
denominator.
Self-worth.
Self-concept and self-worth.
Yeah, it's awareness. It's really self-awareness.
That's the whole thing you're saying.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's like if you take that information that damn, I'm not good enough, I need to take better as I'm shitty and I should stop. That means you don't have enough confidence.
You don't have enough confidence.
But that's self-concept.
Some people and honestly, part of me feels like I was being a little inconsiderate to those who don't have that much confidence.
Yeah.
By saying, hey, you need to step it up and compare yourself to others. But there's also another part of people who have that confidence that don't want to step outside themselves and say, I ain't comparing myself to others. Think about it's for men and women too. Think about the girls, right? Take me as I am. I'm a big girl. Take me as I am. Yeah. I'm rude. I'm loud. I don't know how to cook.
I don't do nothing. I have nothing to bring to the table.
Take me as I am. And I don't need to get better. She's not comparing herself to the other girls that are married.
That's funny because Kevin Samuels says, what do you want and what are you willing to get it? What are you willing to do to get it?
Yeah, and that's
you get
crazy.
what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I said, you have to have a North Star. I feel like if you have some kind of idea of what you want out of your life, then you can look at people who have what you want and compare what they did to what you're doing. And where you kind of fall short. So that may be why you're not getting your North Star. Because you're not comparing yourself. You're not looking at how to attain different things. And I don't think it's like one size fits all. I think you kind of have to do like a survey kind of thing. Like you have to look at the top 5 people doing that have what you have. And it's like, okay, what works for me? What doesn't work for me? And I think you kind of have to like rebuild certain things. Cause I think like what you said about the confidence, like I know I don't have the confidence to do a lot of things. So I've had to kind of like review my life and see where there's evidence that I do have the confidence. And then it's like, okay, if I don't have the confidence, what can I do to gain the confidence? And to do that, I kind of have to look at what other people are doing that have confidence. So it's like, it's weird because I think sometimes we can get caught up in looking at what other people do and comparing ourselves and like, oh well, I have to do this verbatim. I think that you have to kind of like.
I think it's a spectrum thing.
Yeah, I think it's like a first principle thing.
There's like certain narratives that are just created in life. Like every penny gained is every penny earned, and it's a fucking penny.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? There's certain things that we say cliche, that we just like, jack all the fucking time, and it's really like, don't compare yourself to others. Yes, nigga, compare yourself to others. See how well you're doing so you can get better. Compare yourself to others. There might lie a friend that can help you get to the level where you want to be.
So I think the big difference though is like when it comes to comparing. So it's like, don't compare yourself to others in an aspect of like,
I want to be like that.
I want to be that person, or
right.
I'm not good enough because I'm not that person.
Right.
I think it's good to use people's success, or it's like learning. It's proof that it can be done. Like I was watching a video the other day because T-Pain has a whole streaming group, a company, I guess now. He's killing it. He's signing other streamers and shit. And he was saying, talking about music industry for one of his streams, and he was like, "What advice would you give to other artists?" And he's like, "Yo, don't take any advice from artists that are already on, because one, that gap has already been filled. That path has already been taken. So by you doing that, you're just gonna look like a number two, and nobody's gonna really like feel the authenticity from it."
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what Gino's saying is, if I'm getting it right, what Gino's saying is really, really correct, because it's like, all right, look at a nigga who don't get no bitches.
Yeah.
Right? One of his friends is funny. You get what I'm saying? One of his friends dresses nice.
Yeah.
One of his friends gets money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You can take all those attributes of your three favorite friends and mold it into your own version.
Because if you try to be like the funny nigga,
it's not
going to work because you're not him.
Right.
Well, you're not going to look authentic. They're going to be like, that was weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
So you're talking about an individual looking at a collective group of people and compartmentalizing what, like I said, it's like troubleshooting your life.
Yeah.
It's like, that works, that doesn't really work for me. That worked for him, but that doesn't work for me. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I had an ego death in the gym the other day.
Okay.
Like I hadn't been in a while and I went. And I know personally, I'm not where I want to be. And I went to the gym and it was like, I looked around and I didn't see anything that reflected something that I would want to see. But at the same time, I was just like, well, if they can do it, then it has to exist within me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily doing what they're doing, but kind of acknowledging that.
So there's a way back. There's another path. There can't be
right.
Just
so
one
I need to
path.
figure out how I can do what I need to do with my design and how I do it to get to what I want.
Yes. Use their success as a testimony that is possible. So I guess a really good analogy would be like, all right, so what's your favorite meal? Let's say your favorite meal is stew peas. That dish exists. You can't slap your name on that dish.
Right.
But you can take 3 other meals, look at them and see what is it that you really like makes you, these are my favorite meals. Why do I like these favorite? Oh, it's this I like in this flavor here and that flavor there. And now you're making your own dish because there's other people that like these same things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I guess it's still in a sense comparing, but it's not comparing to the fact where you're trying to mirror. You're finding the pieces to build up the path of your own.
So it's not comparing.
It's not. It is.
That's what I said. Compare. It's the word compare.
There is comparison there, but it's not the sole purpose.
Yeah, right. You're not mimicking.
Yes.
Well,
you're not. It's not a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think like there are, I always talk about like first principles. There's always basics to a thing, but they have to fit the unique version of yourself. Like, I know I speak a lot about just like we talk about self-development and like you said, self-actualization. And I think that's kind of like there's a basic a basic map but you fill it in with what fits with you because everybody's experience is different.
It's different.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like you have to know who you are. So I feel like you kind of have to like strip yourself down almost and like review yourself in order to know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
You can't just look at someone and say, hey, they got that, I want that, so I'm gonna do what they did to get it.
Exactly.
You gotta have
like
to know your own blueprint, and it's like try a few different things that work for you.
Yeah. What are some things that you think for you, Ashley, what are some bad habits you think you've had in the past 10 to 15 years that you've changed or you've been aware of and are changing now to help you get where you want to
be? Talking to people the wrong way. I grew up with a mean Jamaican mom, and she used to just like talk to us however she fucking wanted, and I took that and just like I was never a follower, right? So I would start businesses or do business with other people, or start teams and collaborations where we're all comrades going to get a goal accomplished, right? And sometimes I would be too blunt or too crass or too harsh in the way I communicated, and that would solidify the title of us being comrades and not confidants and real friends. And that's what I learned. It's like there's different levels of communication. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. A lot of this thing is negotiation. Relationships are negotiation. You can be in a polygamous relationship with four girls that cook and clean for you and do whatever you can. It's whatever you negotiate, and if it sounds completely logical and right, it'll work. It could exist.
It could exist.
You can go to work and you can negotiate a $200,000 salary for working remotely in San Tropez.
Yeah.
While before that you'll be getting $60,000 in the office because you didn't open your mouth. Like that was like communication and perspectives and building relationships were one thing. Another thing was this goes deep, yo. Yeah, another thing. That's what we here for. Another thing was before I would try to get into entrepreneurship and not have active income placed in entrepreneurship. So I noticed that everybody else that were creating companies, they would have a bank. So in case a certain variable in their company was running dry, they had the water to fill it up because they had high active income. When I say active income, that's money you're making right now from like a job. You know, the best unsigned rappers are niggas with a good job. Think about that.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Because they have a lot of air they can blow life into their art.
And also it takes a lot. If you got to really believe in your shit to take that money and put it up in there.
Exactly. So if you're not making money and you're just trying you'll not be able to. I have an acronym. I've probably told like 3 people this in my whole lifetime. So it's kind of weird me saying on the show. I have an acronym, and these are pillars of how to scale in life, and they work astronomically for me. Like what I'm about to say worked so much for me that my life completely switched around in 3 years, right?
And like you about to drop a link for a book right now.
It could be in a book. It's an acronym, right? If you don't know what to focus on, you feel that you're lost. If you pay attention to these 5 pillars, you will always have balance in your life. And I think every black person should have these 5 pillars. So the acronyms are black. B is for business. Every month have a business goal. Your business, right? L is for longevity. That's like health, going to the gym. Every month you should have a longevity goal. Do more cardio, do HIIT cardio, lose 20 pounds, gain 30 pounds, right? A is for active income. Active income is anything work-related, job,
Some source of
things
money.
things that you're doing now to make money. So that's moving up in your job, right? That's getting that new promotion, getting that certification to where you're more qualified to do your job. Business and active income are different because you need the active income to flow into your business,
Yeah.
right?
Hold
Yo,
on,
it sounds like a fucking stadium out there.
It's a boy.
It's a gender reveal going on over there.
Oh, damn.
This really helped me out, so I'm gonna finish the point.
Yeah. Please do.
C is for creativity.
Okay.
Creativity. If you're an artist, make sure you record.
Okay.
If you're a painter, make sure you draw.
Okay.
Paint.
Yeah.
Keep that art. Keep your hobby. Keep your soul stirring.
Yeah.
K is for knowledge. Make sure you read. Make sure every month you're gaining new information.
I agree with
Black.
that.
You have those pillars, and I know it can be there could be more into it, like family, love life, this and that. As soon as I focused on one goal for all of those, my life was just completely balanced, falling into place.
Okay.
It was,
I agree. Those things are all definitely because I'm not gonna lie. Anytime one is lacking,
you get what I'm
things are not that great.
Yeah, you're just like lopsided with like you just having all of them things in place, like those 5 pillars, like it's easy to flourish. And it got weird because I was used to falling on hard times. And things were getting good, and it's like you have valleys and you have peaks, and like life is like synonymous with a heartbeat, and it's crazy. I always talk about how everything is relevant, and like we are living off of our heart. Life is a heartbeat. Yeah. And when I say a heartbeat is like, if your heartbeat is wacky, that means you have low valleys and high peaks. Yeah. Almost like bipolar. Yeah. Like when your times are bad, they're really bad. When your times are good, you're really just over, reactive to your good times. But when you're like, steady. When you're balanced and you have those 5 pillars in place, your lows are not that low. Yeah. Your the bad times are not that like bad because you have your active income or your health is good, so that covers up. Or you read a book and that filled in that spot. And your peaks are not so like bipolar-ish because you've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like nothing when you're buying out the bar right now. You want to do that tomorrow?
It's something light.
It's light. So, and it's like it's just the nice way to keep life's heartbeat in check.
Nice. I like that. That's dope. I like that. I might have to try to start applying that to my life. I guess for me, actually, there's a lot. My thing is I grew up very extroverted. Ended up being very ambiverted towards my more recent times, but I realized that relationships, but just similar to what you said, talking to people, but it's not what you know, it's who you know type thing. I feel like getting to understand people, what makes them tick, what they desire. Almost fucking, this is almost kind of, what do you call it, sociopathic if you think about it, but just like, there's a thing they said, is a saying, it's a terminology, it's mirroring, it's like
mirroring behaviors,
mirroring people. Like for instance, so say if you go on you got a job and you're about to meet the CEO of the company, and you want him to like you because you're trying to get this promotion, and he comes in the words. It's like I feel like at where I'm at now, I just need to maybe like 2 minutes talk to him, and I know exactly how we're not to lie. Or
see, me the opposite. I used to do that. I did that all my life.
I know how to mimic people, not mimic, but
fill in the gaps. Of
I know what kind of guy I'm dealing with. Not to say I know this man. I'm not being judgmental, but I feel like I've learned the importance of every encounter I have with another human being. I feel like I always was had good intentions. I never wanted to whatever. But there's been times where I did not care who anybody else was. It was kind of a little self-absorbed. And now I'm kind of more, I take the time. You know what I mean? Like you never know how things can play out or when that person may come into your life again. You know what I mean? So it's like, I try to be a little bit more...
Interactive?
Not interactive, just more...
Interpersonal?
Cautious. Not cautious. Every interaction is an opportunity.
Present.
Yes.
That's interpersonal.
Okay,
That's interpersonal, yeah.
Okay.
So you're more present. I was like that growing up.
Okay.
We're like on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum because I'm doing the opposite.
Okay.
I lived my life mirroring the people around me and kind of being whatever environment I was like extremely adaptable. Like whatever environment, in every environment, I was able to be whatever the environment called me to be.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm getting to learn myself.
See, that's the thing. Like, so okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Like myself.
It is.
What you're saying.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, because that's what I initially was saying before. It's like I didn't realize like how much I have given myself to others. So I didn't. It's almost like I lost myself to social environments. Okay. So it's like I kind of like put the things that were genuine and authentic to myself to the side. Okay. To fit in environments. Because it's like I just thought that's what you were supposed to do. Like I just thought like growing up, I thought I was wrong. I thought I was weird. I thought it was just like nobody's going to want to befriend you. No one's going to want to be around you because I was extremely introverted. I was extremely to the point where it's like I kind of was socially awkward, didn't really know how to talk to people. I used to have to like drink to actually like relax enough to like intermix. Yeah. And so then doing that, it was just like, okay, you're in this environment, so you have to be this way. Like it was like watching people for the sake of like knowing how to act in certain environments. Yeah. And I lost myself. And then coming into now, it's like now I kind of like don't really have too many people around. So it's like you're stuck, and I spent a lot of time by myself and I was just like, I don't really like me. I didn't like who I turned into. So it was like, who are you and what do you want from your life? And it's weird because I didn't know. I just didn't really know. And that's why I'm like super obsessed with like self-development, self-actualization.
That's beautiful though.
And just kind of like, I'm actually like almost finished a book about a strategy to rediscovering who you are.
That's awesome.
Because it's just like, I think a lot of people, we kind of just, whether you're extroverted and you just kind of get in the mix with everybody, I think a lot of people kind of, whether you're extroverted or introverted, you kind of lose your sense of self or self-concept, like what we was talking about before. You don't have a purpose. You don't have a foundation. So there's no pillars. Yeah. You can't even get to the point where you can build pillars because it's like, the fuck am I building pillars on? They're going to fall because I don't have a foundation of myself to know what kind of life I'm trying to build. And I think like that's important to even get to the pillars part. You kind of have to have just these basic things in place about a self-concept, about who you are, what you do, why you do it, who you do it with, kind of knowing what environments you want to be a part of. Okay. You get what I'm saying? I think like a lot of times we will be a part of an environment because of the luster of it, or even just like, that's what everybody's doing, so I'm just going to go do that.
Okay. All right. So my question, with that being said, what with the things that you've learned and experienced and has changed, the second question to that is, what are some things that you find that you still struggle with today after all this time?
Trusting myself. Trusting that I've learned the lessons. Trusting that I know and that I'm capable of being myself and excelling as myself. I know that sounds completely weird because it's like who doesn't know themselves? Who can't be themselves genuinely, authentically all the time?
I don't think it sounds weird at all.
I think sometimes we become accustomed to muting certain parts of ourselves just to get by, whether at work, whether with your family. I think kind of like self-assurance or self-confidence in your capabilities to achieve the things that you want.
What about you, S?
I think it would be gauging my insecurities. Like I like taking. I notice when I start taking my insecurities head on, they don't turn insecurities anymore, and I defeat them. Right. So like gauging like what I'm over, and gauging my insecurities, and like trying to realize what I'm over, what I'm not over, and because you know like how you have like a voice in your brain.
Yeah.
My voice in my brain is like mad, like almost like militant and mad fucking like, come on, get up.
Yeah.
The fuck you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to the gym today. Oh, you're gonna be a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You get what I'm saying? It's like like it's like that. So it's like I don't know. I don't even want to toot my own horn, but like I get up and like go for my shit like OD. Like I'm like. It's like a motivational speaker with the music and everything going on in my head all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
So, but I'm like, when I'm like afraid of certain things, it's like, oh, you're not that.
Yeah.
You're not. You're gonna.
The glass is breaking. The bubbles popping.
Yeah. Oh, you're not that. That's what you need to work on. Oh, that.
Yeah, I think I've had moments like that.
Yeah, so and it's like catching it, you know, and be like, we got to get rid of that.
Yeah,
you know, it's almost like finding a tumor and cutting it out before it becomes cancer. You know, you got to find those tumors in your life.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, quote unquote, and like you need to grab them shits. Like not even tumors. Like you got to find those fucking like. Those viruses, you gotta find those
abscess.
Yeah, those
things that are life draining.
Those little triggers that turn into insecurities, and you gotta take them head on. Like neglecting is like the worst thing you could do.
Yo,
it's like once you turn into a neglecting ass nigga, man. Yeah, you just drift through life. Yeah, you gotta take on everything. Yeah, if you're and you learn that it's like you learn that from a teenager. You know those you got a ticket in your mom's car. And it's like, oh no,
God, that's my life.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do that next week, and you don't do that next week, and it's a $300 ticket. Now your license is suspended. Yeah. Now you can't get that job you want to get. Yeah. Now you can't pay the ticket. Yeah. Now you just like you gotta say like it just
adding up.
I mean, telling people like I can't be broke. Broke is expensive.
Yes.
Yo, broke is expensive. Being broke is so expensive. Like this bill turns into $500. That bill turns into $500. This $3,500 bill turns into $3,500. The government wants money because they think you made money, and it's like, damn, nigga.
It's a lot, no. It's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's a lot.
Well, I think life is supposed to be lived, and a lot of times when you don't take responsibility for even the smallest things, you're not living. You're drifting. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to like experience, and you have to learn from those experiences.
Yo, one thing that gets me too, I think kind of morbid, yo.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You're dark thinking.
And it scares. It don't really scares me, but I think about it and I'm like, I don't want to manifest that because you manifest everything you think of, you know? So I'm thinking about it and like, it'll be like an old friend, right? And they hit me up and they're trying to chill and shit. And I'm like, this person don't really fuck with me. Would they even show up to my funeral? I think like that. I don't know why I think like that.
I kind of think like that.
Or it's like, I wonder like, how would I die?
I think like that a lot.
I don't. Oh, so everybody does it.
I ain't gonna lie. Yo, you ever have like
is that normal?
You ever be thinking like it's today? You ever see like a day outside that it feel like there's an energy outside that's different? And
the shifts. I call them the shifts.
Something like that. It's just like a day that feels different. You look at the sun and it got like a different tint to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And like is this today the day I'm gonna die? How would that happen?
I think like that. Some not all the time.
Not all
but
the time.
I think like that sometimes. Yeah.
And I'd be like,
My intrusive thoughts are a little different.
Or I'll think like I'm driving perfectly safe, and I'm like, yo, what would a car accident look like?
Yeah, I definitely.
And I think it's just really like my imagination like ripping through because now I can create a short film like that and make the short film look extra realistic.
That's dope. Yeah.
You know, or like create a story and like make that story real grounded.
Yeah.
And like if I made a movie about like a serial killer, it would like shock the fuck out of you because I'm thinking
this is probably what he would do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So now it's
just not giving into those thoughts. It's challenging.
I don't believe
no,
it.
because unfortunately, like you're very lucky because I can't afford to think like that. You get what I'm saying? Like my brain goes there and it goes all the way there.
Ooh.
So it's just like I stopped doing that because then I would actually kind of like you said, everything you said manifest.
Yeah.
So instead, it's like I think you guys are like extremely lucky to like be able to think that and then use your imagination to kind of transmute the energy of it.
At the same time, I'll do something like say somebody's talking, right? And if somebody don't like, I'll be like, yo, what if I slap the shit?
Yeah, I mean, I can just picture.
It's not always morbid, but it's always like, all right. Oh, has this ever happened to you? A cop is standing next to you, and you're like, yo, what if I just grab his gun?
Grab his gun. What would he do? Like,
yo, what if I just grab his gun? Yeah.
Does it mean I'm automatically going to jail?
There's a scene in Requiem for a Dream where the two people are standing there with a cop and one grab his gun. They play monkey in the middle with the gun.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Is that what Marlon Wayans is?
That movie. I always think about that shit. Or like you on a date, right?
Yeah.
And you with your shorty or whatever, right? And you just thinking like, what if we just start fucking?
Right? Yo, Kanye.
What if everybody start fucking?
Yo, that is, bro. Yo, there's a movie, Adam Sandler on Click.
That's my movie.
I swear to God, bro. That part where this nigga his boss was like chewing him out, and he just paused it and just wham. I just like, yo, how many times? If I had that control, what would you do? You know what I mean? What would you do in those situations? I would love that. I'm not gonna lie. What would a person do
with the click remote?
If you knew you couldn't get caught doing it?
Don't give me no click remote.
I still have a moral compass, so I wouldn't touch no woman.
Nah, I wouldn't touch no woman. It would be more stuff like. I'm not gonna lie. I would still.
I don't even think
I would still.
I wouldn't punch nobody.
Nah, I would punch some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't punch nobody. I think I would just take money.
Yeah, I would take money from the bank though. I wouldn't steal from no mom and pop shop. I'm stealing that shit from like corporate America. I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely take from the bank. But other than that, I think.
Don't get my ass.
I don't know. I would just do weird shit. I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy and it sounds a little creepy, but I would just like if I could press click, I'd probably like just walk butt naked down Manhattan just to say I did it. Just be like, I know these people know I'm doing this.
You know what I think about constantly too? When you ever see the movie What Women Want?
Yeah.
If you could just
read people's mind.
if you could just walk around and see what bitches are saying.
That would be fire.
It'll be some fucked up shit. But some girls would be like, well, I just want to start. You know what I mean? Some girls are gonna be like,
if you walk by, I wish I could just suck his dick right now.
We think like
you ever been in an elevator? You ever been in an elevator with a bad joint and you just like wonder what they thinking? Just be like, you feel the same energy? How you feel it?
Energy don't lie though.
Yeah.
That energy don't lie.
That would be fire though. Like the same what wasn't that scene that happened? No, there was another movie where the black girl. Who's the black girl in that movie?
Was it Regina Hall?
Regina Hall, I think. She could read men's mind.
Oh, okay.
And she was in the elevator with that dude.
They did an opposite movie.
Yeah. And he was like,
that's what I'm saying. As a girl, I would not want to.
I think men.
No, it would be pretty much what you think though.
I think you can tell.
Dudes, I think men do that all the time. Like a girl just passed and it's like, oh, hello. And then back in my fuck.
Yeah, you like that. I don't think that's an interesting movie.
Girls do that shit.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We're just we're like really good at like not showing it. We'll look at you dead ass serious.
Y'all fucking
and like
ninjas.
we have an attitude and we're just thinking like, I want to
Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. That's one thing I've had.
But he has to do it.
See, that's the thing.
That's why
bro.
girls won't let you know.
How many girls in my life have told me like, yeah, I was feeling you, and I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Yo, a girl would sit like you go on a date, right?
You're stupid.
A girl would sit on her couch, right, and you there. And y'all tipsy, this, and that. If you don't make the move, there's some girls that nothing will happen.
And her
you
had that remote,
her coochie would be soaked.
Touch it. I hope he touches it.
I just don't understand.
And nothing will happen. And nothing.
Give me the green light.
I think we think you know. You're just scared.
You don't know.
Like, cause if you had that remote at those times, most of the time she wants you to do it. But I know for men, it's just not like, it's not safe to assume.
Exactly.
So I get that. But at the same time, most of the time, like, girls' thoughts are wild.
Not for nothing. I'm going to keep it above.
And it might scare you.
To the crib.
Yeah, ready.
Yeah, I tell him no. She done came to the crib.
Ready.
But that's logic. Yeah. But a lot of times,
sometimes
a girl would travel a whole hour and come through and be like, "Oh,
I just came here to watch a movie.
I just wonder what they're doing."
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've only had one girl that was kind of like, what? Had a nigga like, I've only had one that happened to, but I ain't gonna lie. What made me kind of like.
Yo, wait, hold on. Before you switch the topic,
no, go ahead.
There's this one girl, right? She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have game night." Right? So I go to her house and I'm bringing games and I have my Jenga and my Uno cards and I'm like, I brought the games. And she just
put them shits away.
Pulled her titties out, tuck her bands down.
Wrong game, nigga.
Wrong game.
That bitch playing Hungry Hippo. Put your dick on the table. She gonna come.
Some niggas are stupid.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Niggas are stupid, bro.
Niggas is definitely.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie,
I think I went to like Five Below and I bought like, oh, this game will be fun. Yeah. Like, it was like that. She came through and got
$45 again.
But didn't waste no time. Butt ass.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I realized that though. Like most girls, I never had that situation though. Like most girls, like they was with it. The only time, like I've ever like when you were a kid and like you just trying to like you ever try to like I don't know. Let's change the subject.
Boys are dumb. I think
stupid. We don't know.
But it's funny because like you guys don't get it, but there's guys who do the opposite. They read the wrong signals. Like they read the wrong signals, and you're like, no, I don't. Like I don't. And they're just like dumb. You're like, relax. I really don't. Like I really, really don't.
I'm not
just
gonna
like
lie.
chill. Yeah. And then there's niggas who's just like, and you're like, nigga, touch me. Touch me.
So I've always been on that part. I'm not gonna lie. I've always been because I think the worst thing I could ever do is assume somebody's with the shits.
Yes.
And not. I think I'll be super embarrassed.
Yeah. I'm not gonna front. It never happened to me.
Yeah, it's never happened. But
and that's because I was always super sure.
Exactly.
That they wanted
like, you gotta.
Like it's like they talking crazy through text and it's like, oh, they talking crazy.
But
and it's like, all right, next time we meet up. Next time we meet up.
We finna get it shaking. But check this. As you got older, tell me you haven't got nicer at leading the conversation there. In a safe way. So think about like niggas. There's some niggas. I ain't gonna lie. I thought all niggas was like this, but then I have cousins. I have a lot of female cousins that show me like messages from niggas.
Niggas is crazy.
Niggas is stupid. Niggas will be like, hey, what did you have for lunch? Here's a dick pic out of nowhere, my nigga. Like there's no segue, no nothing.
Listen.
When you're young, like a young adolescent looking for trying to get it in, you kind of like you make the mistakes, and then by the time you hit 20s, mid 20s. Your shit's supposed to be like seamless.
Niggas is still
like
dumb.
You should know how to get the conversation there, and the conversation getting there is not to definite that you're gonna get where you want to go. It's to know what this relationship is gonna be like. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
I'm not gonna front. I learned that by accident.
But that's usually how
like there's a chick, right? I'm talking to her and something comes up where somebody like has a vibrator or something, right? And I'm like, every girl has a vibrator. And I just asked her, and she was like, yeah. And I'm like, you have one? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, and she's explaining it. And then she goes into it, and now she's talking about it, and and then she just started taking off her clothes.
And that's how it goes.
And then it's like,
that's why I'm here.
That's why you gotta. I know we sound like idiots. I know, like a lot of people are like, duh. But I didn't know that shit.
I ain't going front, bro. Like it's an interesting thing, and that's another thing that kind of like, yo, like as much as like I ain't going front, I was like obsessed with girls growing up. I was
boy crazy.
I was definitely girl crazy. That's all I thought about was trying to bag shorties. And then like it kind of got me to the point on a grander scale, it got me like understanding people so much more. I'm telling you, like being, I guess like in the arts of like trying to court is great training. And I'm not saying like, hey, young guys go out there and just try to talk to man bitches and shit, but
why not?
If you are, hey man, you're on to something. It's not just about that, because you can use that same aspect to close a deal, to sell a car, to get the job that you want, to freaking help please the customers that the difficult customer. You know what I mean? Like it's all about knowing how to talk to people, and that shit is such a valid point in life today for me. I'm not gonna lie. It helps me a lot. So many problems that I got out of.
I wanted you to land that so I could use that as a clip, because that's that's bars.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, it's done helped a lot.
For real. For real.
You already know. No, hot in here.
Hot in.
Hey man, I'm definitely getting a haircut. Matter of fact, that's what I want to talk to you about too. We're gonna talk offline, but I got me this clipper with a guard and shit. I'm about to start trying to cut my hair, my own hair.
You inspired?
Yeah, I was making saving $50 a week. Woo, I'm super inspired. Super inspired.
Yeah, so you know what we're gonna do, man? That was a good episode. I got this long sleeve shirt on. I'm hot. I look like a
crazy person.
The iPhone turned off. we about to end it. We about to end this episode.
You already know.
That was another episode of IC. Sean Johnson. Oh, Steph Sade Renee.
Namaste.
That's another episode of IC. Peace.